Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yong, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Bazi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of communication, success and motivation. I'm pleased to announce that I'll be launching a one-year live coaching program called Transform, where I'll be working one-on-one with you, my client, if you decide to be one, to help you transform yourself to be the best version of who you can be, aligning with your heart, your mind, your body and your soul in terms of your life purpose. If you are keen, please click on the link that I have left in the video description. In today's episode, I will be continuing on the discussion about period 9 and what has it got to do with happiness and fulfillment in our life. In the previous episode, I spoke about understanding and having insights about your Bazi chart, your life journey itself, either utilizing your Bazi or Qimen Dunjia, so that you can actually slowly go in pursuit of happiness in this life journey, and it is better to focus on fulfillment. Now in this process itself, I also spoke about having some interruptions in terms of your pursuit of happiness, which is that of expectations. And for this particular episode, I'll be sharing with you from the perspective of another interference. What is this interference? This interference has got to do with our perception and idea. Now let me just do a little bit of explanation here. When we talk about perception, one way is to actually utilize our Bazi natal chart, where we can look at our perceived environment from the lens of yourself, on how you view the world, how you view relationships in the world as well. In my book on effective Asian leadership, I interviewed more than 100 leaders, besides actually looking at personality, which we can have more insights on if we understand either from the Asian personality profiling series, the Bazi, or for some others, they may be looking at Western profiling system like the ISC or MBTI. Now, the other thing that is crucial, that affects our perception, our ideas and expectations is that of our character. Now, this character is generally influenced by our upbringing, our mentors, the society that we grew up in, which then basically shape our character. And because of the way our character is shaped, it then basically influences our thoughts, our emotions, our perception and our idea of how we think things should be done. So why can this become an interference in our pursuit of happiness in this life journey? Now, the key to remember is when we look at this perception is not just about our perception. It is also about the perception of other people. What you perceive to be true may not necessarily be what other people perceive to be true, because there are two different factors again. One, if you were to look at it from a Bazi perspective, their day master, the orientation of whether are they analysis oriented, action oriented, as well as their upbringing, their background that they grew up in, the educational influence or their mentors will be totally different. Therefore, trying to basically think of perception or an idea of how we should succeed, for instance, versus how other people think we should succeed. Unless you grew up in a similar environment with similar society norms, you will generally have a lot of pressure. And I discovered that when I actually spoke to the various different leaders. And when we look at it, although I interviewed the leaders basically based on whether are they in a leadership position in an organization, be it profit or non-profit, we must also understand that we are leaders of our own life. Therefore, another term for what other people call it, which is self-leadership, we need to understand what is our character, what is our personality versus that of other people. And also the crucial concept is that what we can do is influence other people, like what any leader would do, influence other people in a certain common objective. But do not be attached to that perception or idea that it should be done that way, because we have to remember that we can only control our thoughts, therefore our emotions, our decisions and our actions. We hope to influence other people's decisions through their thinking, through an environment, through a common goal, but ultimately the decision, their thoughts, their emotions is up to them. There is no way we can influence that. So for instance, if I think I want to be successful from a corporate perspective, now from a person coming from a totally different background, they may not view what you think as success the way you view it. Therefore, when you are expecting after you reach a certain level of success, for them to congratulate you, it may not happen, and in the end result, you end up being unhappy. That's what I meant by it being an interference in your pursuit of happiness. So I'm not saying that you should not basically influence others. I'm not saying that it's wrong to have a perception or wrong to have an idea. I'm saying that be aware and have an insight that their perception, their character, their personality can be different from yours. You can hope to influence it, but do not be attached. And when you don't get the results that you want, do not be upset. Understand why, reflect upon it, and then basically move on. Of course, that would mean certain part of letting go, which is very similar concepts that I talked about in terms of attachment and letting go in the previous episode. So here it is. In our pursuit of happiness, we can utilize Bazi and 奇门遁甲 as a tool to understand where it is, and especially from a fulfillment perspective, we can definitely utilize our natal chart. And if there are any interferences, it could be from the 10-year luck cycle, it could be from the environment that we grow up in. But at the end of the day, if you are aware that you do not let your expectations, the perception of how you should be or who you should be, as well as the idea of how success should be, understanding that through our life cycle or the different luck pillars, the priorities change, learn from any of the lessons like I mentioned previously, reflect and then move on and go continuously in pursuit of what really makes you fulfilled, what truly matters to you. That's how even if you get road bumped or railway jacked from your journey in life, in your pursuit of happiness, you can get back in line, get back on track on the way towards it. Because at the end of the day, when you look at life at your ripe old age, what you want to accumulate, it's actually wonderful memories and experiences. Because by the time you grow old, do you think the amount of physical material wealth will really matter when you really cannot do much about it? Or would it be more your health, your happiness, and your experiences? So that's it I'd like to share with you on happiness and fulfillment, which is especially important in period 9. Like I mentioned previously, if you have missed that particular episode, please remember to click on this link to watch why in period 9 it is crucial to focus on happiness and fulfillment. In the next episode, I'll be interviewing a doctor on the concept of healing. All of us will meet with some kind of challenge or obstacle along our life journey. And therefore, naturally, we will need some kind of healing. And what I like when I interviewed Dr. Peter Mack is that he spoke about the 4 dimensions of healing and why self-healing is most crucial even though he's a general surgeon and has been in the medical practice for the last few decades. So I look forward to seeing you in my channel, and I hope that you have enjoyed the session that I've shared today. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.